You want me to go or you want to go?
I did it last week.
I've done it for like 190 episodes.
Well, it's like your thing, I thought.
Hey, all of you out there in Eorzea, welcome to She Heals, I Tank, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast. Today is Friday, January 31st, and this is episode 203 of the Shit Podcast. I'm your host, Vegan Pete, and always by my side is the broken back beauty.
The what?
You got a broken back.
It's not broken, just not.
It ain't working, so it's broken.
Hey guys, Avi Ale here. How you doing?
I'm good, Avi. Thank you for being here as always.
Oi.
A wonderful and happy Friday to all of you. I mentioned it's the 31st, so this is my last day of dry January.
Dry January.
I stutter every once in a while. You want to make fun of it?
You don't.
And thank you to so many of you that would stop by my streams asking how dry January was going.
Chili just did hashtag #BrokebackAvi.
That's what I was going for.
Oh my gosh.
And you guys kind of kept me on track with my dry January, so I appreciate that. I don't think we'll be doing any more dry months, but definitely plan on cutting it back because I liked how productive I was during dry January. And how much money I saved during dry January.
So you should buy me something really nice for Valentine's Day.
As long as I cut back, I'll be able to afford to build that new PC I want this year.
Or buy me something really nice for Valentine's Day.
You get me. That's enough. Big thank you to everyone listening via the podcast, watching on YouTube, and of course, all of you party people joining us here live at twitch.tv/SheHealsITank. We do it live every week and love seeing you here and participating in the show. If you like the show, please tell a friend and help us grow. Or if you are so inclined, you can help support us by subbing via Twitch. And if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can do that for free. If you don't use it on us, just make sure you use it, don't lose it, on someone and make their day. Like these super amazing people. We got first-time subs from Erelon, FFXIV, ChatXWG, Sentient Tacos, they're alive. Vaughn114.
And again, I do want to say thank you guys so much for that first time sub. We really are excited to have you all here.
2 months from Naderade19.
You stuck around.
3 months from Argonaut54.
You're still awesome.
7 months from Marcus Kyler.
Aw.
8 months from Agitated Salamander, and that was a tier 3 sub.
Great.
12 months, 1 year from Pisky, aka Psyche Games.
Because Pete doesn't know how to pronounce words.
14 months from Broly489, and 18 months from an OG subber, Venjek.
Yay!
Thank you all so much. Really appreciate that.
You guys are wonderful.
We are 1 week away from the next live letter, Avi.
Ooh.
So we've still got some time if you have any wild speculation.
Wild speculation.
If anyone listening right now has any wild speculation, as you can feel free to call in via Discord sometime during the show. Let us know what you think is going to happen in patch 5.2. We'll hear what you have to say.
Okay.
We have all the latest Final Fantasy XIV news and discussion, but before we get to any of that, we have everyone's favorite segment,
Greenleaf Minute.
It's the Greenleaf Minute, and thank you so much, Paranoid Jumbotron.
That's a wonderful name.
I think that's a first-time sub. Thank you
Paranoid
so much.
Jumbotron. I really love the visual that brings. All right, so it's the Greenleaf Minute, and we are just under 3 weeks until the next patch. So I think now is a good time to go over what we think will most likely be the eye-level requirements for that new content. Now just note, we are not 100% positive, but if Square Enix sticks with the previous trends, then these should be the most predictable, likely eye-level requirements.
Which they pretty much have always stuck to that trend.
Right, unless they just decide right now that to change things up, this is what you should pretty much expect. People do like to do the next dungeon right away. So the minimum eye level requirement jump from 4.1 to 4.2 was only 10 eye levels. So for patch 5.2, the main scenario quest dungeon, we think it should only be going to eye level 440 as the minimum requirement. A lot of people will be interested in the next part of the Eden raid, and that is why they will be hitting right after that MSQ dungeon. In Stormblood, there was a 30 eye level jump, so we are expecting this next stage of Eden to have a minimum eye level requirement of 455. The Savage requirement should be going from eye level 470 for floor 1, 475 for floor 2, and 480 for floors 3 and 4. The new trial, though. So I think it's safe to say that the normal version of Ruby Weapon will have the same eye level requirement as the new normal raid, which we think is 455. The extreme version should be 470. So if you've been buying tome gear and upgrading it with that copied factory coin, then you should easily be at or above the minimum eye level for everything necessary. With that information, we can assume that the new allegory tomes will be exchangeable for eye level 490 gear, which will eventually be able to be upgraded to 500. Holy shit, you guys, we're like a level of 500 eye level gear.
Taking it to 500.
Oh my
baby.
god, like that's crazy to me. The Savage drop eye level 500 gear and then an eye level 505 weapon on the final floor. Ruby Weapon Extreme should drop an eye level 485 weapon, and the normal Eden raid will most likely drop level 480
Level
gear.
I.
Eye level 480. So I know there was a lot of numbers thrown out at you, but hopefully you at least heard the bits you were wondering
most
about.
important, like if you want to do the MSQ right away and get to that dungeon so you can have Expert Roulette unlocked again, it's not very hard. It's eye level 440 most likely. So even I think, what was Gosha? Gosha was like 440 or something like that.
I don't
It's not hard.
Yeah, I don't commit that stuff. But so basically, if you have kind of taken a break on doing your copied factory, maybe you should start at least running it once a week so you can make sure to keep up on those coins so that you can upgrade the gear that you get with tomes.
And I thought this was useful because I know some people still listen even when they're taking breaks from the game. So now you know it's not going to be that hard to get back right into the MSQ and be able to complete.
What? People are
that.
taking breaks when the only things to do right now are crafting and gathering?
That's the true end game. Or,
No.
you could be raiding. I just finished raiding this week, basically. We beat it either a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that. But I finally got my chest piece to get best in slot and everything. So I pretty much only completed this patch recently.
Yeah, it depends. I thought you said crafting was the true end game, though.
I know. I've never really done it. Actually, crafting has kind of taken a backseat to my rating this tier.
Very true, actually.
But this is one of the first times, I've done it a couple times, but not too many, where I actually finish the entire Savage tier before the next patch. Sometimes you wait until the next patch and wait for that echo to help you out.
That's fair.
So I was pretty happy that we got it all done before the patch.
Makes sense.
Had a little bit of pride in that.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Well, thank you for that, Greenleaf Avi. Now it's time for your favorite segment. It's the tweet of the week. It is the tweet of the week. And I was a little bit slow on Twitter this week. Didn't have that much going on, so you guys didn't tweet at me much. So I took this one from Discord. And it comes from Rathok, who says, so 5.2 is getting a crafting/gathering overhaul. Didn't we just get that? What do you think about that, Avi?
I thought it was hilarious.
Were you thinking the same thing?
Yeah, I was. I was thinking, like, no, technically we just got a crafting overhaul. Now we're getting a gathering overhaul.
Yes, so that is the true end game that we have coming. The gathering overhaul.
Yes, that is, I guess so. That is the new thing.
I just think it's funny that they did list it as crafting and gathering overhaul in the 5.2 special site, but really we're getting crafting recipes. I don't know if that's really an overhaul anymore, even though we do have new, good, perfect scenarios.
Yeah.
We don't know what they're being called.
I mean, it was a pretty major overhaul. I think it was more than just new weapons added. I think it's like they kind of took a whole different approach to it. So I think, 5.1 was a major crafting focus, and then now 5.2 is a major gathering focus with like added on to the crafting. So I I think it's fair for people not into that to not be super hyped for 5.2.
I mean, it's kind of like bonus content you get. We're still getting. They didn't really take anything away unless you want to count
Except for
the
a
dungeon.
dungeon.
But they added in a trial, which is better than a dungeon. But let's move on to some news and notes from around the realm.
It's almost February, and with February comes PAX East.
Why did you say February like that?
February.
It's almost February.
February, because I'm in a good mood.
You weirdo.
Once again, Square Enix will be dispatching producer and director Yoshida to Boston for the gaming convention. Joining Yoshi will be the lead character concept artist Yusuke Mogi. I don't know if it's Moji. I feel like
it's Moogle.
Moogle? I feel horrible. If you are going to be at PAX East, then you'll be able to join them for a panel and 2 signing sessions. Tickets for the signing session will be distributed to attendees in line for the battle challenge during the event and to those attending the panel on Friday. The panel is titled The Artwork of Final Fantasy XIV, A Look Behind the Screen. It will be a behind-the-scenes look at the different techniques used to create a variety of Final Fantasy XIV artwork, including jobs, NPCs, monsters, and equipment. We'll also be sharing some fun stories surrounding the development process. Panel attendees will also receive a double-sided poster that features work by Mogi. I feel like I'm just ripping his name apart. Mogi. I apologize. Mogi. Mogi. I like Mogi. It sounds like Moogle. That panel will be on Friday, February 28th at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you won't be there, then you can catch it on Twitch, either from the official Final Fantasy XIV one or the PAX East one.
Would you be interested in that panel, Avi?
Yeah, I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Artwork?
Yeah, definitely. I think the artwork is incredible.
I think I would be more excited for just hearing the stories around how the artwork fits in with the development process. Just because I suck at art.
Suck at art. The Final Fantasy XIV booth will also feature a photo backdrop where adventurers can stop by and snap a shot to forge some lasting memories.
Do you have any wild speculation on what that backdrop will be?
By saying forge, I feel like it's like a crafting thing, but I doubt it will be because that would just be hilarious. It's like a blacksmithing station.
So you think they're going to be like, we want people to use this backdrop, but we're going to pick something that nobody wants.
It'll likely be like the Shadowbringers 5.2 logo sort of thing. Like I don't know, I feel like something like that.
Maybe like a big ass Dark Knight sword you can pretend like you're holding.
No, because the background can't really have stuff you're holding or it doesn't look right.
I've done it before.
Okay.
We have the Masters of the Universe and the Shiva picture.
I know, but you actually had a physical handle that you were holding for that.
Well, maybe they'll have that then.
I don't think so. But, like maybe Ardbert will be cut out for you to take pictures with. You can put your arms around him and be like, eh.
Ardbert or Elidibus.
Something. We'll see. So to ensure that... they will also be giving away a photo session tickets at the booth on Saturday, where lucky fans can strike a pose with Yoshi and the other guy whose name I keep butchering at that same photo backdrop. To ensure... Sounded like you were going to say something.
I was going to say you skipped the part where Square Enix will be hosting a fan gathering on the evening of Friday, February 28th for PAX East attendees. Join the North American community team for a night of fun, food, and drinks, giveaways, meet your fellow players, and talk all the things about Final Fantasy XIV. Fan gathering details will be announced on Lodestone soon. They actually just did that. Attendees must be 21 years old or older. I find it funny that they put or older.
That is odd.
You can only be 21
or older
to attend the fan gathering. They have updated the Lodestone now, so there will be a link to that information in the show notes, because I don't think we need to go over all of that, since probably most of you aren't going. But if you are going, shoot us an email how you liked it, what they had, or give us a little review for it.
Chad is actually saying that isn't there a Final Fantasy XI segment at PAX East as well, and Chili agreed, and so we all know that Chili is the factor that knows all the things about the stuff.
I look for Final Fantasy XIV news. I don't look for Final Fantasy XI news.
Why don't you look for Final Fantasy in general news?
Because 11 is trash.
You're trash.
So, takes trash to no trash.
No, it does not. No, that doesn't work at all.
That's why I'm an expert on trash.
Okay.
They call me Trash Panda.
Okay. To ensure our Warriors of Darkness stay warm during their time at the show, they'll be giving away scarves at the booth as well. Only available while supplies last. They're actually pretty cool looking scarves. They're which you can find on the PAX link, which we will share
pictures of this
in the show notes. Oh, Pete has pictures for you guys? Cool. They're black and red, but the one thing which is kind of cool, like black background with red Final Fantasy text, XIV logo, but on the back part it's got like the link for FFXIV-freetrial.com, which seems a bit
so they're trying to turn you into a walking billboard.
Yeah, it's very walking billboardy. So it's like cool for the particular event, but not necessarily cool for wearability after the fact. Just my 2 cents. I don't know. That part's a little weird. And they also have a really cute lanyard that has like a cactuar, fat cat, and a Namazu on it. But again, it says FFXIV-freetrial.com. So, it's a thing.
If they just made that scarf without like the free trial thing on it, I think people would buy that scarf in a second.
Yes, hands down. It's a really, really cool looking scarf. I will give them that.
Just give that to us in our grab bag at the next Fan Fest, please.
We live in San Diego, though. When are we ever going to get to wear a scarf?
It's cold in the morning. I will wear a scarf while I poop. I'm not ashamed to do that. It's cold in the morning.
Pete has. If you've seen our stream, you may have seen Pete wearing a Firefly Jane hat, and he pretty much sleeps in that when it's cold, and that's the only time he wears it. Is at night when he's sleeping and it gets chilly.
I sleep naked, so that's the only thing I'm wearing.
I'm sorry for that
Just
visual.
naked Pete with a hat.
I'm so sorry for that visual. All right. Attendees will also be able to challenge the Ruby weapon, and those who emerge victorious will receive an I Beat Ruby Weapon t-shirt. But the design is still secret, meaning they haven't finished it yet, so we don't know what it is. But
you think it is they haven't finished it, or the design they went with, like the Ruby weapon is going to have a transition phase, and it's going to look like really different than the pictures that we've been getting that show the Ruby weapon so far?
I think they haven't finished it yet.
I think it's going to be like it transitions, and it's going to look a lot different than what we've got so far.
Sweetie just typed fashion over function, Avi.
Damn right.
Sorry. They will also be selling several pieces of Final Fantasy XIV related goods at the Square Enix merchandise area. Attendees will be able to purchase existing products like the adorable plushies and new items such as the Shadowbringers acrylic stands and the new job pins slightly ahead of their official release. So you guys are super awesome and lucky that you get the awesome bits before everybody else does.
Yeah, and those acrylics are really cool.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've seen so far, anyways.
I actually think the acrylics would be a cool thing to have on your desk at work. Like, I feel like because, desk work.
If you trust the people at your work.
I don't think they'd steal that. I do think that, like, work desk space is, like, you got to prioritize it because you don't necessarily have a lot of it unless you're, like, badass. So I don't have a lot of it. And so you got to make sure
you're not badass?
I'm not badass. So you make sure the
Broke
things
back,
you
though.
have there are, like, cool to you, and also like if somebody stole them, it's not like irreplaceable. You don't want to put something like that there. But I don't know, the acrylics I think would be really cool. My 2 cents.
All right, Avi.
Anyone else hear that all the time now?
Still undefeated with all these lore questions that you've tried to, what you say, teach me lore, but really it's more like I'm telling you lore.
Okay, well, because you're telling me lore, I think this is a relatively easy question. We're keeping it really short after last week's question, so we're kind of going the opposite direction. But it isn't even multiple choice, Pete, because I think you're going to know this one so hard that I didn't need to give it to you multiple choice. So this week's question is, from whom did the beast tribes of Eorzea learn to summon primals?
Vaginas.
Such an idiot.
Read it again.
You were not listening to me at all. He's like, I need to pick a soundbite for that. From whom did the beast tribes of Eorzea learn to summon primals?
From who?
Yeah. Whom?
What do you mean, from whom?
Who taught them how to do it?
There was one person who taught all the primals?
Or a group of people? Who would benefit the most from this? Oh my god, I thought this was so easy. Come on.
I need multiple choice. That's how I do process of elimination.
I know,
baby.
but I think you should know. Even Chili's even laughing at you. Like I literally the hint of who would benefit the most from that is like it's a giveaway.
Darlings?
Think about it again, dum.
I mean, it's all the beast tribes that were summoning shit.
Uh-huh. So like what does the summoning bring about?
Primals.
Okay, but what does the summoning of primals bring about?
Sickness.
How long have you been playing this fucking game?
I like to kill shit.
My God, you guys, I'm so disappointed in him. Like, this was like literally like basic Final Fantasy 14 101. This is from the book.
I know that there's someone with crystals. Shit ton of them.
Okay, but like, why was it so important to like summon these primals? Like, what was it like causing in the world? What was it leading toward?
Calamity.
Okay, so who does the calamity benefit?
The Asians.
So who would teach the beast tribes to summon primals?
La Habrea.
It's not a person, it's the people.
The Asians.
There you go.
I just said Asians.
I know, but that wasn't answering the question I just said. That was answering the other question I just said.
So I got it right.
I am not giving you that one because that took so much lead up.
I got it right.
No, you did not. Chili just said teaching Pete lore so he can learn some basic shit.
I think it's just because, I don't know. I feel like somehow it was weirded word.
Well, how is that weird? I actually took that verbiage from freaking the Encyclopedia Eorzea. Like the only part
I don't know. I like envisioned like someone going up to the beast tribe and like sitting them down and being like writing on a blackboard, "This is how you summon a primal." I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, okay.
Not that it was like a grand scheme of the Asians too.
How does that not make more sense?
But I
Even
didn't. I was envisioning like a classroom being like, okay, all the beast tribe, take your seat. This is how we summon primals today.
That's
Primal
an amazing
summoning
visual.
101.
Someone needs to draw that. That needs to be like that's a meme right there. Primal summoning 101 with the Emmett Silk up front teaching the various beast tribes what they need to do to bring about the next calamity.
That's what I was picturing.
Okay, that is the name of this week's episode, Primal Summoning 101. Because that was amazing. Chili says more like someone goes up to a beast tribe in a cloak with a hood and going, PST, do this? Psst, psst, do this. I read Pacific Standard Time, so I was super confused. Psst. Chuckles, here you guys got a great visual. So now imagine Emmett in a school daddy uniform teaching the Amalja.
What is a school daddy uniform?
I don't know, but I like it. Who must needs teacheth thy beast skin of the summoning? Chat, you guys are wonderful.
Asians.
Pete, you are not getting that as correct.
I got that one right.
You did not get that as
right. In lieu of multiple choice.
You needed
you gave me a little hint.
That was like
and
6
I got there.
hints. No.
What is the segment called? Teaching Pete lore. That's how you teach me.
Okay, then I will ask you that.
I got it right.
I'm going to start repeating questions because I feel like I need to like ensure the fact that you know these questions now without the multiple choice.
No.
Because we're not teaching it. If you can't answer them again, then you didn't learn it.
It's like a test. I'm allowed to use process of elimination.
Right. But then I also am allowed to make you re-up this education and prove that you still understand it. Because I work in IT and technology is ever changing. So you have to constantly take these tests and be reevaluated.
That's the dumbest thing.
And so
I
think we need to reevaluate Pete on things he says he's learned in the past.
It's garbage.
Yeah, I don't like that sound bit.
Let's move on, Avi.
That's amazing.
I got another one right. And with that, I think we should go into some discussion.
Ooh.
Before we take a look at some of the information that we got for patch 5.2 this week, I thought it was worth a little quick look back at the content we got in patch 4.2.
I think it's a really good idea.
Then we can do a little comparison.
Okay.
Patch 4.2 came out on January 29th. So we're getting 5.2 a little bit later on in the year. Not quite 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, something like that. Looking back, there were 8 MSQ quests in 4.2,
Okay.
and we don't have the patch notes yet to compare how many we're gonna get.
Did you look
in
into like how much
5.2.
the time was for the cutscenes that we got?
I'd have to go look at someone's video that had them all on
that
there.
That would take a lot of effort. Because I mean, honestly, that's more so than the number of quests that we got. I would wonder like how much actual MSQ story we got personally, because I think that's more important than the number of quests.
I judge it by how many cutscenes we got.
Well, but you didn't give me that information either.
I know. I'm giving you a project for next week. Back in 4.2, we got 2 dungeons. The MSQ dungeon was Hell's Lid, and the other one was Fractal Continuum Hard. As we all know, the hard dungeons aren't really hard.
So do you think that we are only going to get an MSQ dungeon now?
Yeah. I don't think we're going to get any more
Because
hard...
we're getting one dungeon.
I don't think we're going to get any more hard mode dungeons.
So they're not going to reuse any of the maps anymore. Which was already like... So they used to give us like 2 original dungeons, and then it would be like, well, 3, then 2 original, and then it became like the hard mode where they would kind of reuse the map from a previous one. And so it's like they lessened and lessened it, and now it's like, and now it's just like a new, fresh dungeon related to the story.
Just to get you through story.
Okay.
The trial we got back then was the Jade Stoa, also known as Byaku. We got a normal and extreme version, and this was the start of the 4 Lord series.
Do you know of anyone who calls it Jade Stoa? Hey, do you want to run some Jade Stoa?
Nah, it's Byaku.
It's Byaku.
The second tier of Omega 8-man raid was released.
Normal and Savage?
So the 8-man normal raid.
But so they released both in 4.2?
If it was 4.21 or something, it was only a 2-week difference or something.
Okay.
I don't remember.
It's not a huge difference.
We got them both basically in 4.1.
Fair enough.
It might have been a 2-week difference.
Okay.
The Beast Tribe we got was the Ananta Beast Tribe, the snaky people.
I still am bummed we didn't get a chest piece that looks like their shirts. I love their shirts.
These were for Disciple of War and Magic. So you did it on one of your normal jobs, not a crafting or gathering.
Your normal jobs.
One of your normie jobs.
Your normie jobs. All right.
And then there was kind of like all the minor notes you get. You always get the job adjustments, PvP adjustments. Didn't want to really detail that stuff. That was the bulk of the what I consider like core content that we got.
So it was like we got some extra content, like the Domain reconstruction in patch 4.2. So it's kind of almost like a testing grounds for the restoration of Ishgard.
That's what I would thought anyway.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. It's like the beginning of that kind of where the world looks specific to a specific player. Like you're making changes to the world around you. Let's see how we can do this in the game and have multiple players come in and view it differently.
Yeah, because before that we only had stuff like Mordana and Idleshire where it changed, but it changed for everyone. It wasn't specific to your view.
Right. So how did you feel about the story for the restoration of Ishgard?
The story part of the restoration of Ishgard, I thought it was lacking.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like I don't even remember that much of it.
I do kind of feel like the story for the restoration of Ishgard was secondary to the content that they gave you to do, which I feel like was the opposite of the Domain reconstruction. And I think it maybe because, like you're saying, it was they're dipping their toes in this sort of content. They put more effort into the story to make sure that people would do it, because really the only thing that happened from it was that the world slightly changed around you. So if the story wasn't driving that, then there wasn't really anything to drive it. But with Ishgard, it's you actively doing something. The servers actively doing something that is driving it more than the story is.
And I think I touched on this last week. The restoration of Ishgard, like largely, unless you're just using it to level crafters, it was forgettable within a week. Like you didn't go and redo it if you had all your crafters leveled.
I also think that they were kind of depending upon the fact that like we already had so much Ishgardian story, and we have backstory already. We don't need backstory. We know what's happened in Ishgard. We know why we need to restore Ishgard. Like, do you really think that there needs to be a lot of story to explain that when we've already had it a while ago?
Yes.
Mr. Scene Skipper wants more story.
I mean, get all the crafting leaders together and like give us orders and stuff like that.
So you want more like governmental sort of
I
structured
want more
story.
world building.
Rural. Okay. That's fair.
Making fun of my speech impediments again, huh?
It made me think of the rural juror from Parks and Rec. And I was just like, where'd my brain go?
That was from 30 Rock, I
Was
think.
it 30 Rock? I think you're right. It was 30 Rock. I'm sorry. They're both very funny shows.
In addition to the Domain reconstruction, we also got the fashion report in patch 4.2.
I actually do think the fashion report was a really good addition to the game. I know that they ended up dumbing it down, which I don't hate. Like, I mean, I know some people really enjoyed breaking it down and figuring out all the details, but all I know is that with the changes they made to the fashion report, I have to spend less gil or less effort in finding the correct pieces, which also means that I make less gil if I do want to craft those pieces and put them available for sale for other people to buy, which I'm kind of okay with. Like, I remember being kind of upset about it being easier, but really all I do is wait for Nairoko Star I probably said her name wrong, to post it on Twitter, and then I go, what do I wear? And then I put it on. So my personal effort really hasn't changed much. It's more the people who are making that sort of content that is adjusted.
Yeah, I know there's always a thread on Reddit where everyone's trying out the stuff at the beginning to figure out what is the best to wear.
I do think that's really cool that people still do that in order to make that content. I kind of love that.
Unless, like, there's a thing in the gold saucer, like a piece of gear that I'm really trying to get, I don't even do the fashion report.
I have a lot of MGP right now, and that's primarily due to the fact that I had been doing the fashion report so regularly to the point that I actually kind of stopped doing it because I would actually use the MGP boost that you got from your squadron, and then that almost like ups it by a third.
Yeah,
what you're getting, so it makes it very much more beneficial, and so I just kind of kept building this MGP and being like, well, I don't have anything to spend it on.
And that's pretty much why I haven't done it in probably a month and a half or so.
Yeah.
Is I have a ton of MGP.
Right.
But I'm curious, what is a lot of MGP to you?
A few million?
Huh?
A few million?
Okay, yeah, I'm over 3 million MGP.
Well,
I'm like, I need something to buy.
I didn't even buy the electric green Cactuar one because like it's so like that mount to me is like Pete in a mount.
Well, if it's there and you have the MGP, why not just get it?
Because what if something is released that I like more that I then will have to like save up the MGP for? But if I just don't,
But then you have something to do again.
But I don't want that mount. I won't use it. So I don't want to own something just to own it. I want to own something because I like it and I want to use it.
I want that big ass list to scroll through.
Oh, nah. I pick my favorites. I use my favorites rotation, or I put my favorites on my hotbars, and like those are the ones I use, and that's kind of it.
I use my Chocobo 90% of the time too, but I still want them.
You're such a weirdo. Have you even dyed it?
Dyed what?
Your Chocobo.
Yeah.
Okay. What color?
I don't remember. I think I was going for black, but I got like a
navy blue. I remember that.
No, it's not blue. It's more purplish.
Okay. You should try to make him like bright green like you.
No.
Yeah.
Also in 4.2, we got subaquatic voyages. So this was a little bit of crafting content and free company content because you couldn't really use those ships or submarines in free company.
Do you feel like the subaquatic voyages were a successful addition?
I think they are, but there still is something to be lacking.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing intuitive to it. Definitely has to be kind of taught to you by another crafter, like even how to use the company workshop.
Is a bit confusing and tedious.
It'd be, I don't know if it's tedious, but it's not that self-evident.
It's not
like if you were just
to
to zone into the free company workshop as a new player and see something being built, I don't know if you'd know what to do.
Well, you might have also even like be a little intimidated to mess with it because you know that someone in the free company has been working with it. So you definitely want to reach out and find out who's been doing it.
So it can be a little bit intimidating, but it is also kind of like old school MMO. Like you're figuring out stuff as you go, unless you're just like looking at what other people, like when you're sending out your airships to all the different zones and stuff and what they're bringing back, you have to like keep track of what's coming from each zone, unless Someone's already done that work for you.
Pete, there's another you in chat. Watley says, I have a green chocobo. Couldn't ever get the right blue, so I gave up. That's exactly what
I
Pete
think
did.
that's happened to a lot of people when they've tried dyeing your chocobo. Even though there's like a website that will tell you like exactly how much of each food to feed it.
Oh, and
It's
RFC actually has a Google Drive document where like, because that website doesn't necessarily always take the color that you're coming from, if it's not the standard one, into account very well, and it'll sometimes give you an issue. So we have a spreadsheet and a Google Drive document that you can make sure to double check that its math matches with that math. So I'm such a spreadsheet junkie that I've always used something like that, and I've always made sure that the color I want is the color I get.
But it's so easy to just like mess up by accident too, because you have to feed it so many pieces of food to dye it.
I don't understand that.
And you're like, you accidentally click the wrong one, or you do it at the wrong time, and it can like mess it up.
I don't understand that. I go, I'm feeding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 other food. 1, 2, 3. Like to me, I was, as long as I've got my list, I look this up, I feed it to. I was like, the food chocobo.
That is tedious to me.
But it's literally like, it's not like you have to come back later and do it again. You do it all at one time, and then you just wait until the next day, and then you go, let's see if the color worked. And I've done it like 4 or 5 times, and I've gotten the color I wanted. I'm like, boop.
They should just make a crafting item that I can give to someone, and they dye my bird.
Why is crafting difficult for me, but like coloring your chocobo is difficult? Like, it's so easy.
But this is easier. Just let me craft something. Turn in my token to some NPC.
But then it limits it to people who can craft.
Now you can buy it off the market board.
Then it limits it to people with money.
That's like saying you're limiting how it is now to gardeners.
Well, but everyone can buy an apartment and grow stuff, or they can buy it off the market board. So it's like...
And everyone can craft.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it.
Lawyered. And a little bit of more housing stuff we got in 4.2 was new wards. We got wards 13 to 18.
That is a big deal.
Housing wards.
Adding more houses. That was a big deal.
So that's all the stuff we got in patch 4.2 that's worth talking about anyways. Like I said, we're not going to go through all the job changes.
Oh, no. So now that we took a little bit of a look back at patch 4.2, now we're going to look forward to patch 5.2. And the special site for 5.2 has been updated from those basic bullet points that they had listed previously, like that lovely little outline. And in case you haven't heard yet, the new patch is called Echoes of a Fallen Star.
And really quickly in chat, they say, I agree, dyeing your bird should be one and done. Just let us use the dyes.
That's because that is your spirit animal right there, Pete. Watley is like twinsy Pete, and you two just like need your.
But why don't they do
together.
that? Why doesn't like every color of chocobo like a dye color, and then you can just throw some paint on your bird?
Because math.
I don't think that's right.
It is math though. It's the color spectrum and math and. Yeah. Oh, Chili, why you gotta bring that up? Chili in chat talking about not getting another healer in 4.2, you little son of a butt.
Well, guess what? You're not getting another healer in 5.2 either.
I know. I'm not, like, trying to.
And that was Chuckletopia, not Chili.
Oh, sorry, Chuck. You bitch. I'm just kidding. I love you. Just, you had to, like,
I think
bring
you're
that
all
up.
over the place now. You don't know what you're saying.
I don't. Because math. All right, so we got a little blurb. So now that we finally got our blurb from the MSQ, it reads, with Yulmore on the path to a brighter tomorrow, the Scions await such a time as the Exarch might return them home. Not in idleness, however, for when has any world been content to grant its heroes respite?
Do you glean anything from that, Avi?
Hard to. I was reading it first, and now let me actually read it for myself. So you talk.
I don't know. I don't think it's gonna tell us too much. I like that we're just like, oh, Yulmore's on a brighter path now. It's like, yeah, they're kind of like.
So the Crystal Tower is gonna come back, like the first, not from the first, like back to, like to the first from the source. That's what this says. The Scions are waiting for everybody to come home.
They're waiting for the Exarch to like be able to transport us back to where we were.
Yeah. That's all it says, really. But not in idleness. Like, we're not sitting around just waiting for you to send shit back. We're actually doing our own stuff.
I would. I'd be like, I saved your fucking star.
So what this basically says is that we're going to be not doing much on the first anymore. Or is this, God dang, I'm mixing up the source and the first now.
Source is where we started.
Okay. So the source is where we're going to be doing most of our stuff in this patch. That's what that says. The first is not going to get a lot of attention. Source and first, by the way, are very freaking similar. So my brain is not functioning today.
All right, so give me this. Are we, you know how we kind of were dealing with that separation of soul and body in the last patch?
Yes.
Is that going to be solved, and are we going to be able to transport
No.
ourselves, or I guess we can already go there, but the scions back to...
I don't think it's going to be solved in 5.2, but what I think is going to happen is that we're going to be focusing on the story happening on the source. I don't think it's going to be like closed. I think that's going to happen in 5.3. I think everyone's going to come back happy dory, yay, Disney movie in 5.3, because then we, get ready to kind of like end up the Shadowbringers plot, like kind of tie things together.
But it says, when has any world been content to grant its heroes respite? So
respite.
Like, same difference?
Different word.
I think it's the same word.
There's no E at the end of respite. Is respite even a word?
I think that's just how you pronounce that sometimes. I think we're going to have stuff to do on the first.
You do? Like what?
Whatever fucking Exarch wants us to do. We just do whatever the fuck he tells us to.
Well, I do have to admit, so on the website, on the preview site, they do have a picture of Y'shtola, but every other image looks like it's not.
For some reason, I think that picture of Y'shtola is going to be Beast Tribe. Because we're staying in the first for the Beast Tribe, and
that
I think
makes
it's
sense.
going to be in the forest.
Yeah. Chili says the dungeon is on the first as well.
All right, and I see that we do have Chili on deck. So let's go ahead and bring Chili in to live on air and see what Chili has for us. And don't forget, guys, if you have something you want to say too, you can join our Discord and hop in that on deck channel. Chili, how are you doing tonight? And what did you want to tell us?
Thank you. How about you?
I'm good. What do you got for us?
Just a heads up that the 5.2 storyline and 5.3 are basically going to be a part 1 and part 2.
Yes. They said it was 2 parts of a chapter.
Also, 5.3 is the last Shadowbringers plotline.
Okay, which is why I was saying I think that everything's going to get kind of closed up. I don't think they're going to bring everyone back until 5.3.
Yeah, we're not going to see them leave till...
No.
We're probably going to get a tease, I'm going to guess, at the end of 5.2.
Yes, like a possibility of it happening.
Yeah.
Or a possibility of it failing.
Like, oh, they're teleporting, what's going to happen?
Oh, no, it looks like it failed. Is it going to... No one's going to make it. We're all going to be dead. But we're not because plot armor is thick.
Only Y'shtola will die.
Oh, yeah, she's still going to die.
And then she'll be back again in 5.4.
No, and then checking it, then the listeners can get mad at me for spoiling again because Y'shtola's gonna die because Square Enix wants to kill Y'shtola so hard.
And by the way, if I'm right about these, I don't have any inside information. It's just guesses, okay?
When you say that, it makes it sound like you have inside information.
Well, no, remember last time you got in trouble for when I talked about the weapons.
The ruby weapons, yes. But that was actually a fun conversation because they were like, oh, damn it.
I just want to clarify that in case anyone hears this and thinks
Chili's a know-it-all.
Yeah.
Right? Did you have any predictions for 5.2 MSQ, Chili?
We're gonna find out who Bad Bert really is.
Bad Bert?
Well, yeah.
Elidibus Bert?
I mean, I feel like once we talk to him, we'll know who he is, right?
Yeah.
So, what are you hoping for?
I feel like he's going to be from the 13th.
What are you hoping for in 5.2?
Well, what I'm hoping for is a savage, but well, I'm hoping that Diadem isn't bad.
That's a very, very valid hope.
Because I admit I liked old Diadem.
I didn't hate it. I just hate what it kind of became.
I hated the players in the not in the first Diadem. The first Diadem I actually really liked the most.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they rebooted in second Diadem, I hated the players more than it.
Yeah, I didn't even do it. I got like so frustrated. I think with people, like I kind of did it a couple times, and I was like, "This is just not."
Well, I don't know if you did it later on when it got more boring, but basically, people found out that the emergency mission, it didn't matter what happened in the instance; it just randomly popped up.
Okay.
You didn't actually have to do anything in the instance.
Oh, so people
to
just
make
hang
it
out.
happen. So people would go in, do the basic mission to get the rewards, which took like 10 minutes, and then just sit AFK unless the emergency mission popped up.
Oh, I'd stop doing it by then.
Yeah,
That was really
and
infuriating.
before that, like you would just farm Dino Island for the loot.
but at
Yeah,
least
I
you
did
was
that.
doing
I did that.
something.
That's fine. That was kind of fun because I was always the person chaining things back.
It was kind of fun, but at the same time,
Yeah.
it's kind of just like Eureka. It gets boring after a while, just going from
Yeah, but I'd
NM to
rather
NM.
have something to do than just the plan being, okay, we've done 5 fates, kill a monster. Okay, now let's sit here for an hour.
Yeah. So Chuckletopia is hoping that in 5.2 we get to kill off Yuri on J.
I would be shocked.
I'd be shocked too, but I'd also be extremely happy to never have to read his dialogue
Who
ever
would you
again.
rather kill, Yuri on J or Thancred?
Thancred.
Thancred.
I'd rather
Yeah.
kill Yuri on J.
Really?
I feel like Thancred's death would have more of an impact.
Yeah.
But his death should have been. Well, I was going to say spoilers, but it should have been in Shadowbringers. That
Well,
would have.
Shadowbringers
that
isn't over yet.
That part of the story would have been, I don't know, perfect.
I'm still hoping
know.
that Thancred, air quotes, dies by not returning to the source. That he dies by staying there with Lise, like not Lise, Reen.
With Rin.
Yeah, to their names like there's literally like 2 letters. I hope that he stays there with her to like stay and mentor her, and so he's like giving up his soul and he's choosing to do that. Like I think that would be really, really cool.
Yeah.
Personally.
Well, he's always been like a father figure to Minfilia, so it would make
so
sense.
I think that would be a really like cool and
Yeah.
not cool, but like a really impactful way to die, and then we'd still be able to see him when we go back. So it's not
I
really
would
a
like
death.
if they just all find a reason to stay there, just so that way we can have a new set of scions for
I
the
still
next
want
expansion.
Yushtola to stay with her Rothgar boy toy.
She still hasn't acknowledged him.
What are you talking about?
She hasn't acknowledged him. She's just like,
I think
They
she
are
did a little bit.
totally banging.
that doesn't mean
They
she's
are banging.
acknowledged him.
So?
Banging means like he's just somebody over there that I hang out with every once in a while. Like that's totally different than
Yeah,
he's my
that's
boo.
why as soon as we got doing our shit, she went right back to the forest.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I miss my boy toy in that off.
See, even Cater Pants says he hasn't brought his toothbrush over yet. I agree
They've
with that.
already moved in.
No, I don't think
he
so.
doesn't need to bring his toothbrush over. They live in the forest. He can make one.
You still need to brush your teeth.
Yeah, but he's got the wood. He can go.
Yeah, he does.
They have not
made a Pete
added
joke.
a
I made a
toothbrush
Pete
to the
joke.
game yet.
Oh.
Yeah, he hasn't even got an umbrella yet. The poor guy.
Orzia has horrible breath.
What? That was
Yes,
weird.
Cow Pants. He's got the wood.
As I said, you
He's
made
very
it.
little son. That's for certain.
Oh. But yeah, that would be that's never gonna happen. That's again, it's kind of part of like the Yushtola plot armor where it's in the Yushtola love interest. They'll only ever hint at something. They'll never actually make
Well,
it
yeah,
concrete.
because they want her to be open because of fan service.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, she's the ambassador.
Mm-hmm.
Of fan service.
All right.
How
Well,
may I service you?
thank you so much, Chili. Is there anything you'd like to add before you go? Any shout
As I
outs?
said, I'm looking forward to the weapon stuff. So I want to see what the new trial is that's being kept secret.
Yeah.
I want it to be a Hildebrand,
Ooh, yes.
but
Yeah.
it's probably going to be MSQ.
Yeah. I agree with that. Well,
So-
if it's MSQ, I want it to be really good story associated with it. Like,
Yeah.
I'd be okay with it being really good story associated with it, but if it's just another Xenos fight or something, I'm like, okay.
I think it's going to be tied to fake Ardbert, if anything.
That makes sense. We'll see.
I want it to be totally crazy and come out of left field.
What does that mean?
I don't know. If I could think of it, it wouldn't be totally crazy and out of left field. It'd be really predictable if I thought of that shit.
Okay.
We end up fighting the Scions for some reason.
We get cloned and end up fighting
But
ourselves.
not like they're evil twin versions of them, the actual them.
We trip into that echo stealing machine and have to fight our own echo.
Ooh.
I mean, technically, if you level up Dark Knight,
have not.
you get to fight Shadow yourself.
Shadow you. I don't know.
All right, Chili. Well, thank you so much. Do you have any shout outs to give?
He like just giggled. Do I have shout outs? I give.
Well, I'm going to do slowly, but I'm going to shout Motion Radio this Sunday. Of course, I'm going to shout you guys out. Go check them out at twitch.tv/SheHeals. Go follow them on Twitter and go check out their website, shehealsatank.com. Also, FFXIV Media has an event tomorrow on Adman Toys. On Saturday, on the 1st of February, some sort of time in America. But 1 second, I am bad at this.
Math is hard.
There's so many time zones in America. It's 2 p.m. EDT, 11 a.m. PST, or 8 p.m. CET.
What's the event?
It just says they're doing a housewarming party at Shirogane, Ward 11.
Okay.
Plot 30. They'll be doing riddles, races, maps, and more.
Cute. On Adamantoise.
Racist maps.
Adamantoise.
What is that?
However you say. Oh,
it's the one where the Lalafels are the only ones to get rewards.
Oh, jeez. Wah, wah. Well, thank you so much, Shilly. Oh, go
before
ahead.
I go, of course, go vote Bert. Bye.
Oh,
Vote Bert. Bert's the best. Bye.
Vote Bert.
Hashtag Bert boy.
If you guys
boy.
haven't done the Valentine's Day event, go vote Bert.
Vote Bert.
All right, we do have a couple pictures from the MSQ.
Okay.
First one we have is of us, the Warrior of Light or Darkness. Well, I guess we're back in the Source.
Yes.
We're in Alamigo, so I guess we're the Warrior of Light,
As you
not
can
the
tell,
Warrior of Darkness.
Not only by Raubon, but there's a big old freaking griffin behind him.
Yes, there is the Alamigo flag, pretty giant. I don't know what room this is, though, because I'm used to just going to a Raugar's Reach, which is still kind of rubble, like beat up.
Not rubble.
It's not rubble, but it's pretty beat up.
It's like tenty.
This is like a really nice war room, like
legit.
a big, giant, shiny wood table.
Yeah.
That doesn't even have like a map with like pieces on it or anything like that.
Does a legit?
It's just a plain table. Like, what are they doing in this room?
Like, is it not a legit room because there's not shit on the table?
This looks like
This
a
is
room
not our coffee table
that you would
shit on all the time.
have an orgy in or something like that.
What?
It's so clean. That's what I would do in that room anyway.
I don't know who you are.
Anyways, we got our good friend Gaius in there. And Gaius is accompanied by his Ginger Ellison that we saw him with the first time in the burn. He's back. Don't know what he's doing. And then, of course, we got old Lefty. And I call him Lefty because he lost his left arm. That's Raubon. You think that's a good nickname for him?
Sure.
Lefty. And then the guy who has his back turned to us, I think, is Maxima.
Uh-huh.
And he
looks like it to me too.
He was the, I guess,
kind of prima donna Ellison.
ex-Garlean.
Yeah.
And has kind of been feeding us information on them.
Yeah.
Don't really know what to say about this one other than we're back at the Source. I think this is going to be leading up to the Ruby weapon. I think Gaius has come back with some information on this brand new weapon that they've found, and we've got to hurry and stop it.
I think you're right.
That seems like pretty traditional Final Fantasy fashion.
Very, very traditional Final Fantasy. He's letting us know about what's been going on, and now we got a thing we got to kill.
Then the last picture we have is that Y'shtola picture. Oh, thank you for that sub. Raw chicken baguette.
I love the name still.
You might get salmonella from that.
Don't eat it. Don't cook it first. Cook it first.
This is Y'shtola, and the person in the background, you can only see her midriff. But I think it's are they called the Children of the Forest? Or am I thinking of Game of Thrones? They had a similar name.
You totally threw me with that. But it's the gear. It's the Vieira. She's one of the three Vieira sisters with that gear on. That's not the people in the forest that was with her when they were just farming.
So it's Ixmaya?
Yeah. That gear she's wearing is the ranged melee gear, which is what they wore, where the other ones of who you were thinking of before actually wore the mage gear. See, you guys, if there is a glamour question about this, I will not know the name of it, but I will know how to describe it and where it's at. But yeah, that is definitely, so that's a Vieira right there. You can tell by the hairstyle as well.
And I'm guessing that this is going to be where the beast tribe is, the Kitari.
It makes sense. It does logically make sense.
That's just a straight up guess, though.
Also, I fully decided that I really want Y'shtola's green feather earrings, which is so opposed to my vegan husband, but it's going to happen.
Just make them.
I am. I'm going to go kill a bird.
Next, we're going to talk about the 8-person raid, Eden's Verse. And the little paragraph we get about that is, having taken control of the gargantuan sin-eater known as Eden, Reen continues her quest to restore the dormant elements of the empty. With Urianger, Thancred, and the Warrior of Darkness by her side every step of the way. Yet, the awakening of an enigmatic young woman may put the mission in jeopardy. Will this erstwhile foe continue to pose a threat, or is there more to her heart than darkness?
I love her.
So, yeah, let me bring up that picture. This is her. We don't have a name, but she is very goth looking.
Well, we got some art.
Yeah, so this piece of art was actually given to us in March of last year.
Yes,
at one of the fan fests.
And so then we get a close up of her face of and her name is Gaia. Chili just said in chat.
Oh yeah.
And we were gonna go into that in a bit, and then we actually have a version of what she looks like as the character creation version of her, I guess, a version. But I definitely feel like they've looked at some of the mods that people have used in the design of this character. If you go back to the facial features of her, she does have a higher build, like she's like very human looking, but the shape of her eyes, the shape of her face, the shape of her lips, the makeup, the eyebrows, everything about her is unique.
It sounded like you were writing a love song.
Man, she's beautiful.
Shape of your eyes.
She's kind of beautiful. Yeah, I really like her a lot. Like if I were to cosplay as anyone right now based off of the pictures and stuff, like for the next fan fest, it would be her with pink hair. Like that would just be because wigs are really itchy. So I would just be her with pink hair, and I would have bangs. I'd be like, hey guys, I'm having bangs for this cosplay. Yeah, she's gorgeous.
The piece of artwork that we got was from Tetsuya Nomura, and like I said, we got that back in March of last year. I think he debuted it at the Tokyo Fan Fest.
Yeah.
Because it's one of the later pieces of information that we got, and we were very clueless. Like, all they told us is it was going to be with
hammer,
Eden.
and we're like, how does this hammer make sense for any job in 14? Like, what class is she going to be playing? And then do you have the screenshot of what she looks like in game? Oh.
So we don't know if she's actually going to have that hammer in game. We didn't see that.
That's true.
So that could have just been a little artistic license. It wanted to draw her with something.
But they put a lot of effort into making sure that everything else about her really, really matches what the artist put together. The fact that they made the shape of her face, like I said, her lips, her eyes, everything else really fit that is wonderful. And I'm really, really excited to see. Like I now that I've seen what she looks like, I'm really excited to see the personality that goes along with her.
I am a little disappointed that they called her a foe in that little blurb that we got. I think that should have been something that we figure out while we're doing the story.
No,
because by calling her a foe, it kind of gives us a preconceived notion of what she is.
Maybe that's intentional.
Could be intentional. Doubt
because, I mean,
it.
when you look at her, the close-up of her face, it's very kind of Tsukuyomi of her. Like, she's very angular, and it does kind of feel like she's not on our side. So, and Chili does say we kind of learned who she was in the last raid tier.
See, to me, she looks like someone that's brand new to the world. She looks like she's just woken up and doesn't really know what's going on yet.
Voxna just said that Voxna7 says getting major Lulu vibes from her. Like, this is like if Lulu was like 18 years old. Because I feel like the Lulu we got in 10, she's like 28, 29 years old. Like, Lulu's been around. Lulu's seen some shit. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's actual age for her, but in my mind, Lulu was a little bit older. She'd been around. This is like baby Lulu, who's just trying, her boobies haven't fully grown in yet. And so that's why she's not fully there. Sorry, Lulu's, her boobs are a thing. So Chili's going to Google her age for us. Thank you,
I
Chili.
just don't like when they tell us what a person is before. Don't tell me she's a foe. Let me figure that out on my own.
So you like very much so focused on that woman. Or that word.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, Chili says that Lulu was 22. I think she was older.
Yeah, so that's pretty much all we got on the Eden Raid. No more previews of any bosses that we might get. And the next thing we got some information on is the new dungeon. And that blurb reads, "Deep in the Tempest, deeper still than the phantom Amarat of Emmett Selk's design, lies what remains of Andire's ancient edifices. What slumber forgotten in this bed of knowledge, even the Ondo know not." What do you think about that, Avi?
No, not.
No, not. They don't know.
Even the Ondo don't know. Okay.
I read it how they write it.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Okay, wait, I'm sorry. It's harder for me to like respond when you say it than for me. Like, I need to sit here and like read and absorb it. And then that's like a weird, awkward silence with me like mumbling on the podcast.
I thought you had already read it.
I did not read this part because you were writing this part when I was doing stuff.
Anyways, I don't think we get much from that. We're going to this place. We don't know anything about it, but this is like Amarat was Emmett Selk's design, so obviously that was just like his version of it.
So we're going back there.
It's going to be to the actual place, I think. And we're going to learn more backstory around that city.
Well, it sounds like because it's like, it's the phantom of his lies, what remains of Anders' ancient edifices. But some are forgotten in this
Not
bed.
lies, as in his lies. It's like what lies beneath.
Oh, see, I read it as design lies. Like what I get what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying. But when I read it as like the lies of his design, which is it could be a play on both directions, potentially.
Could be.
So in what I was going to say in that is, you know, Emmett Selk may have designed it in the way that he thinks it is, and then this dungeon could show us how it actually was.
Yeah.
That's kind of that's the direction I was going with that.
Yeah, the first picture we get doesn't give too much away. It's the outside of a building, maybe a courtyard, no mobs that I could see. But that coral doesn't look healthy to me, man. We've got a crisis on our hand. Coral is dying, coral reef dying off.
It does look pretty sad. I'll give you
The
that.
architecture is pretty interesting to me. It has some columns that look like they're made from some irregular flat rocks and not like bricks, like just like weirdly shaped rocks that look cool. So yeah, I like the look of the outside of it, but we don't really get much in the way of what mobs are going to be there.
It looks very underwater, but the like building itself doesn't look deteriorated from the water. It does look like like I said, there's stones and stuff on the outside that weren't necessarily meant to be there.
In the second picture, we do get a mob, what looks to be a boss mob, a giant purple Cyclops bull.
It's awesome. It's like a Cyclops sort of
Bull?
Yeah, hybrid.
Like I just said.
What is the bull called that was in the middle of like the labyrinth? That was like
A minotaur?
It's like a minotaur Cyclops hybrid, I would say. Which is all very like Greek mythology, which I'm always a huge fan of. So I think that's really cool.
Looks pretty damn fierce.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of the design. He's got an orange toga with a few leather belts, some orange leather bracelets, and some orange boots that even allow space for his hooves to poke out.
He kind of looks like a minotaur, even with the horns and the body, and then his face is Cyclops with like a purple body. I don't feel like I pictured Cyclops having like crazy claw fingers like he does. So, I don't know.
I mean, a Cyclops just means one eye. A Cyclops can look like many different forms.
But like the Cyclops monster from Greek mythology was huge.
Oh.
Like that. So like there was...
I don't know anything about that.
Okay.
I don't read fairy tales.
Okay, yeah, jerk.
I like that his shoes are kind of like sandals. Like it has a little break for his little hooves to poke out from.
His gigantic hooves to like tear through.
Little hooves. So cute.
Pizza his little toesy woesies.
Basically what I'm saying, it's one of the cutest mobs we've ever
He's
gotten.
not cute at all. He's got like a creepy red eye with like a white pupil. I think he's really cool looking.
He's got nice teeth.
And then, so we do see the characters around him in the dungeon. It does look like they are wearing different dyed like Shire gear. Which is
it's
kind of
definitely
cool.
a set. It looks very similar to each other.
So we did look at it. So the Shire gear, the tank you see up front, they redyed the tank redye looks really cool. So it's like a black armor with gold accents and like a turquoise cape. And I almost didn't even notice the cape on that previous gear because it was all black. And so by making it turquoise, like I see this set and I was like, wow, that cape looks really cool. And so pretty sure that's
Gonna make a tank so you can wear that cape?
I mean, I have a tank and no.
Tank or having a cape makes you tank better. Did you know that?
Chili, I love you. He just made a total like Grecian reference. He says a Cyclops took a note from Pasifia and banged a bull to make this amazing boss. Yes. Yes. I'm down for that. Not the banging, but like them banging and then this happening.
I'm always down for banging.
God.
So what'd you say? This is the Shire set redone a little bit?
Yeah.
Nice.
Actually, even because I recognize two of the sets. Well, I recognize the caster sets. They both look like Shire gear to me, but because I didn't play the other classes, I did ask this in Discord in the Glamour channel, and they confirmed, yeah, this is the Shire set. I know that cape. Blah blah blah. Thank you for your help.
Good job, Discord. Moving on, we got to the Sorrow of
I called
Werlet.
Chuckletopia Chili again. You guys with the CHs,
Bad
it killing me.
Avi.
I know, I'm sorry.
The blurb for this reads, the Garlean Empire seeks to break the stalemate with Eorzean forces by unleashing the culmination of its twisted experimentation. A brutal war machina that exists only to destroy. On both sides of the battlefield, shadows of the past loom large as the decisive clash draws ever closer.
Ooh.
Were you paying attention this time? Do you have anything to say about this one?
I still think it's War Machina.
I could have sworn I said Machina last time, and you told me, say Machina.
I will never say that. It's always Kina to me. Machina.
I said it like that. You told me to say it differently.
I don't think so.
Liar.
Chili says he doesn't have his Desert Rose to fight Ruby Weapon. Oh, goodness. You going into previous Final Fantasies. All right. So, yeah, there were no pictures.
What are you talking about? There's a picture right there.
You said we didn't get any pictures.
No new pictures, but we still have a picture.
Okay.
The same one we got from the live letter that they omitted on the last update to the site.
That's right.
How come they didn't just add the picture we got from the live letter? Well, now they did.
Look at you knowing things.
It kind of looks like an alien face, like from the movie Aliens, that comes out of the chest.
Yeah, like the baby alien.
Like it's got that mouth and the teeth like aliens.
Do you know that I actually know that scene of the alien thing coming out of the chest from Spaceballs? Like I've actually never seen Alien, but I've seen Spaceballs and I knew the reference. So I'm horrible. Sorry. Okay.
So yeah, I'm imagining this is what we're going to see right away. And this is my theory on why they haven't.
Yeah, this looks like the intro cutscene.
On why they haven't shown the T-shirt yet for this.
Oh, because it's going to transform.
I think it's going to transform into something that's vastly different, and they don't want to spoil that for us by showing us the shirt. That is my theory anyway.
I hope that would be really cool.
But the description we got at this, I'm like, it kind of seems like something we've got before. Like Ultimate Weapon.
Very familiar. So, okay, wait, you guys. Think of Ultimate Weapon. And then let me read this. The Garlean Empire seeks to break the stalemate with Eorzean forces by unleashing the culmination of its twisted experimentation, brutal war machina that exists only to destroy. On both sides of the battlefield, shadows of the past loom large as the decisive clash draws ever closer. That sounds like it could be describing the Ultimate Weapon fully.
Yeah, I mean just talking about the enemy itself. Like, obviously, we're at a stalemate now because the Garlean's in turmoil.
But do you think because of the fact that it says shadows of the past loom large, that it is intentionally trying to make you think of Ultima?
It's a good theory, but isn't that just kind of boring, though, if they're just trying to, remind us of Ultima Weapon?
I don't know. I'm just saying, maybe this is, the Garlean's, next kind of, it's a similar, maybe it's meant to be a similar way where it, absorbs the elements of the Primals. I don't know. I'm just saying,
Yeah, I have no, I never played 7, so I have no idea what the abilities of this Ruby Weapon was.
And Chili's saying that 7 Ultima Weapon which he just called it a 7 Ultima weapon, was one of 5 weapons: Emerald, Ruby, Ultima, Diamond, and just weapon. And that were to save the planet during a crisis. So it is like a piece of that Ultima weapon, essentially.
Yeah. Okay.
That makes sense. That does. Thank you, Chili. Of course. Again, always. We love you.
You need to fucking read.
Why? What did I do?
You're getting these names wrong all the time.
Oh, it's Chuckletopia again. Chuck and Chili. Chuck a Chili. You just need to have a baby and then it'll be fine.
And the other picture that we got for Ruby weapon are these couple of auras in some like red uniform, which I don't remember ever seeing before.
Chili just says, I'm going to change my name to Real Hot Chuckletopia Peppa. Oh, God damn it.
You
Chuck
just
said that.
Chili.
I did it again. I don't know what it is. I think it's because on my screen, Chili's red and Chuck's orange, and like it's kind of similar. I just need to refresh my screen and make it a different color. My brain is special.
Sorry to the podcast listeners who can't see the names that she's butchering.
Yeah. I'm having a day.
So do you think this is going to be the zone where all the aura are in? Because I think it was that zone.
It looks kind of like it. The place that has kind of the end of it that's very cavernous, kind of like the Grand Canyon. I guess cavernous. God damn it.
Excellent description, Zavi.
Well, there's like these big desert cliff edges around them, and that's literally like the one side of that zone.
Yeah, and I think that zone led into the burn, which is, the Garlean Empire can be coming from that direction.
Very true. Everyone's name is different colors now, so I'm good. I refreshed the page.
And we didn't get any descriptions of any of the other bullet points, which were Cinder Drift Trial. They still haven't used that in conjunction with the Ruby weapon. So even though we all believe them to be the same thing, they have not confirmed that at all.
Mm-hmm.
No updates on the Qatari Beast Tribe, Relic Weapons, Ishgardian Restoration, Crafting and Gathering Overhaul, Ocean Fishing, or New Game Plus. I guess since we have that extra couple of weeks, they are just waiting.
Everyone in chat is changing their name to the same color to really fuck with me. You guys. Okay, sorry. This is going to be so bad.
Just read the name. That's how you know who it is.
Oh, gosh, dang it. All right.
All right, Avi. Something you had mentioned earlier in the week is you feel like this is a crafting and gathering patch. I don't really agree with that. With the 2 trials we're getting, I'm really excited for that. You seem to just like not be excited for much other than the MSQ. She's not even listening to me right now.
I was not very much excited for anything with the MSQ.
I was thinking, what if they added the one dungeon we got with different difficulties? Is that something that you would be interested in? Would that give any more life to the dungeons? Because I was thinking how, like, on the trials, they usually start with an extreme version, and then they just take out mechanics to make the normal version.
Yeah.
What if they started a dungeon with a savage version, went down to an extreme, and then down to the normal?
I would really like more 4-man content that is really difficult.
Yeah, and I think we used to ask for like harder dungeons, but not everyone can do the hardest content, so you don't want to make it the only form.
Right.
But if every dungeon is released with the normal story mode and then an extreme and savage mode, I think that gives a little bit of legs to the dungeon staying relevant, as well as could be another entry point for people looking to get into harder content.
I actually like that because it's easier to like organize 4 people.
It's much easier to organize 4 people to do something than trying to get 8 people.
I fully agree with that. Mocha Jones just said that's what WoW does now. ESO actually does their dungeons where they have like the normal version and then like normal vet and then vet hard, and it's all 4-man content. And I think from like a time perspective as well, it would be nice to have difficult content with 4 people, because with 4 people, you could do the difficult content once a week and still progress on it. Where with 8 people, once a week is not sufficient. You need a minimum of 2 days a week. And from me personally, I don't want to like we commit so much time right now to like, this day is for podcast, this day is for dual stream, this day is for this, that I don't have another 2 days in the week that I want to commit to something like that. And I think maybe if I wasn't a streamer and a podcaster, yes, I would. But because I still like to have some flexibility of I'm going to meal prep this day and do some IRL stuff, that's part of what's keeping me from committing to like that really difficult content. And if I had something that was 4-day, I would be more likely to do it because it's not like it's not almost required to do it twice a week.
Yeah. And Chuckletopia says, couldn't you consider Heaven on High difficult content, though? And yeah, I do consider Heaven on High like the only 4-man difficult content in the game.
But it would be really cool if it was Heaven on High and it was one floor that was really freaking difficult and you just kept starting from the beginning like it was a Primal.
And I'll caveat that with, that's our hard mode 4-man content, but it's also soloable.
Yes. So it's like, oh, it's so hard. And I also feel kind of like sad that one person can solo this and I can't beat it with 4 people.
Yeah.
Like it makes you feel
That's an ego hit.
Yeah.
When you wipe, you're like, God damn it, someone's done this all on their own.
But there's a difference in being able to do it on your own and being able to organize with other people.
Yeah.
And that's why the difference of a 4-man versus an 8-man, it's not about the content itself. It's about the organization of those people together.
And I think by doing it the way I described, where you start with the hardest content and then just pare down the mechanics to make the normal mode, I think that helps in development. Like it's not like you're developing 3 totally different things. Like you're not changing the course that you go through. Because the thing with the hard mode dungeons that they released, they kind of had the vibe of the old dungeon, but the route wasn't exactly the same. Like it was pretty much a whole new dungeon that just had a similar aesthetic to it.
Yeah, they just used the same map, but kind of sometimes they didn't even use the same map.
That's what I'm saying. It was brand new development of a dungeon, but I'd be fine if they keep the dungeon exactly the same look, the same route,
just make it more difficult.
Just different mechanics.
Yeah, they could even be like the same mechanics, just more difficult. Like faster, more of them, whatever needs to happen. Hits harder, like whatever they do.
You actually have to use your tank defensive cooldowns.
Basically, so what we're both saying is like a legit hard mode.
Yeah.
Not just like another
hard
version.
Mode was never hard.
It was never hard. It was another version of that dungeon at a higher level.
I'm like, it's harder than Sestasha because you did that at level 17.
Right, but it's not actually difficult. That one when it first came out actually was like that. The mechanic with the scorpion when you would like, that was the first time in a dungeon you saw something, lower your HP that low real quick with a one shot. But then you learn that you're over it and it's past it. Like I would really like there to be a more casual, difficult content. There's no casual, difficult content.
It's like casual. I'm saying like it's
other than Heaven on High.
It's an entry point into harder content, and I think it's easier than, obviously Savage, and it's easier than I think even the Extreme Primals if you make it 4-man.
Yeah. Well, and if you give a step for people to get like to that harder content, like, oh well, you know what? I did the 4-man hard dungeons. That was hard, but we did it. Oh, you know what? I think I can take on these Extreme Primals now. Or, oh, I think I can take on this Savage rating now. Where instead it's like, that's almost like a shelf over there. And you're like, I don't even want to look at that shelf.
I think that's something that's really needed in this game because really, we always joke that glamour crafting is the end game. But the real end game of this game is Savage rating. And only something like...
Well, wouldn't you say Ultimate?
5... No, I think it's Savage. And then like Ultimate's for like...
The 2%?
The 1%.
Yeah. I just had to ask because there is some content more difficult than it.
It is, but I would say like...
That's like the elite of the elite.
The Savage is still like the story mode, or it's like still what we got in the story, and then like Ultimate's kind of like mishmash from different parts.
Well, I fully admit, and I just said, the reason I don't do Savage is because I don't want to commit 2 days to it. I would like there to be content that's more difficult for me to do. I guess Pete asked me before, like with 5.2, what content added to game would interest you? And with this conversation, it would be 4-man content that's like hard dungeons, like hard 4-man content, because I could easily be like, hey Chili, hey KK, hey Pete, let's go do this content. Let's go bash our face in the wall and have a good time and know that no one here is going to get angry at one another, and we can do dumb stuff but also like progress and have fun, and that's a lot. Not that I don't know enough awesome people, but that's a lot harder of a dynamic with 8.
Yeah. Something that you can just go into your FC and say, anyone want to do this?
Yeah, like let's go. I know I literally I just picked the 3 other people that I run stuff with the most often, and I know I can have fun, and I think that would be really cool in the game.
So Chuckletopia is asking, the question is, if they do make that difficult 4-man content, what will we be giving up? My issue is it seems that as an MMO, Final Fantasy XIV doesn't seem to get the same budget as other ones.
Yeah.
Considering how successful it has been, would you think SE would commit more resources to it? That's why I say, like, keep the dungeon look and the route the same, just do the different mechanics, and I don't think that's going to have that much of an increase in development time.
Well, I think that if they...
And we just gave up a dungeon.
That's what I was going to say. If they hadn't just given up the dungeon already, my comment would be give up the second dungeon and do that. But now that we've already lost our second dungeon, I don't know what would be the thing we could give up now, because they're focusing on all these other dynamics. Mocha Jones just said that was one thing when I played WoW, that it felt like progressing because of the difficulty and the learning of new mechanics.
Yeah.
It would be a really nice way to like kind of introduce people to those Savage mechanics in a 4-man format, because the difficult thing with Savage content is with 8 men, if one of you die, you're like, this run was trash. But if there's 4 of you doing it, it won't take as long to learn it, because it's less likely that one of 4 will mess it up every time than one of 8.
Yeah. And in general, like when you're doing a dungeon, you're going to have more variety.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have maybe not as hard as a Savage boss.
Right.
So
it's gonna be longer.
It's going to feel like you are making progress, and you're
Yeah.
not just like wiping over and over and over to one mob. Like, that gets trying on you.
It does, because you feel like a failure at that point. And it's and Mocha said it serves as a gear check for rating. That makes sense too. But 14 doesn't really. 14 very much so puts a number to your gear, so it's not so much as a set as it is like a number. If you don't reach this number, so it's very mathematical, and it's very easy to be like, if you don't reach this number, you can't do it.
Yeah,
it does. They have simplified that.
So that's something I would really like, and now I think you really like that as too.
I've mentioned it before.
As for
but yeah.
if I was to give up anything else,
Can I wait?
to get that?
Chuckletopia has said, I don't even know. I just want to make sure I said the name right. I think they should make the trials and extreme trials 4-person trials. Rating should be 8-man, or X trials. Savage rating doesn't feel like a large enough skill gap to help the people progress in skills. I literally just wanted to say something that Chuck said with the correct name.
See, I think the trials are good 8-man content.
I'm okay with that.
I think there just needs to be another step before that.
Yes, there just needs to be something else. Either a 4-man version of the raid, or a harder version of the dungeon. And I think a harder version of the dungeon would be easier to implement than to try to take 8-man content and make it 4-man content, than to take a 4-man content and make it more difficult.
Yeah. And I wouldn't really consider this a 4-man traditional trial, because it was a Monster Hunter event, but we got that as 4-man.
Right.
Like the extreme version is 4-man.
I thought, is it only 4-man? Oh, I forgot about that.
And so that just always felt weird to me.
Yeah.
I guess it's something I would get over, but I like having the 8-man primals.
Yeah, I know you do. There is something nostalgic, I guess, to the 8-man primals. So, you've been doing it for so long. It might be interesting. It would be kind of cool though, that if you had like how you have the ability to go unsynced, or if you had the ability to go 4-man only, like that might be like a cool option.
Well, you can do that eventually,
Undersized.
just not at release.
Right. But then it's like, at that point, you're undersized, but you're also overgeared.
Yeah.
So I don't mean it as, I mean it just at the same time.
And that's the thing. They give us the option. You can do minimum eye level, go in at minimum eye level, but that's something you have to do on your own. It's not something that they really promote. So
yeah, that's right. Actually, basically, Dad just said the original Titan, Ifrit, and Garuda were 4-man. So it'd be interesting to see some Savage primals as 4-man only. They only became 8-man when they became hard mode and extreme mode. So I guess that is right. That the 4-man primals actually was a thing back in the day, but it was like when you first were introduced to the mechanics.
Yeah, I'm not totally against that. I would rather see the different level of dungeon difficulty before that. Someone did ask, what would we be willing to give up? obviously we gave up the dungeon, but if I were to give up something else, I'd give up the diadem. Like, stop trying to make diadem happen. At whatever is in the diadem, add that to the overworld, okay? Get more people in the world that isn't instanced.
Yeah.
Make whatever we have to do in there.
I mean, but diadem, I'm not gonna shame diadem until we see what the content is like. I don't want to say take that away, but I do want to say that if diadem does not work this time, please stop trying to make it work.
Yeah, I mean, we're on like version 4 or 5.
Oh, Chili just chose who to raid. Yes, so basically, Dad, I know your name is a random color. The chat was having fun watching me not say the right name, so they all made it the same color, so it would make it even more difficult. So apologize, podcast listeners, but just making sure people understand. All right, so we've been going a bit long. You thought it was going to be a short podcast. Look at us.
Yeah, so that's all we have for the look back at 4.2 comparison to 5.2. Something I just wanted to mention quickly is next week we will have a review of an event we're going to tomorrow, which is A New World.
Pete's taking me on a date, you guys.
Intimate music from Final Fantasy.
He's going to have to wear pants.
No
shorts.
We'll look up the dress code.
He's going to have to wear pants.
We don't know that for a fact
Like
yet.
fancy.
So really excited to go see go listen to some music from Final Fantasy. And now that I've actually played a few of the games, I might actually recognize some of the music.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
But I have gone on YouTube and listened to some Final Fantasy music. So in
Outside of that.
preparation,
And
hopefully.
I'm just happy for a date. Date night. All right, Pete.
So we will have our review of that next week.
Share with you guys.
It's time for the Community Roundup, partner.
So this week's Community Roundup is a shout out to some friends of ours. The folks over at Maelstrom Radio, Flattish, Shinter, and the lady in the background, Susan Sprinkle, are back up and recording again in 2020. They took a break for a bit, make sure, just they were mentally able and capable to provide the best content possible, and they are now at a safe space where they feel like they can do that for you guys. So if you want to get caught up, the return episode was recorded on January 15th, and it gives a little bit of a background as to where they've been, what they've been planning for 2020, and it's really sure to be great things. Already, on the second episode of 2020, they had a pretty exciting guest in Justin Moore, who came on to talk about a new Twitch team called Rainbow Arcade, as well as the state of LGBTQIA+ on Twitch, as well as his passion around intersectionality. They are not only the founders of our super wonderful free company over at Maelstrom Radio, but they are some all-around awesome people. And I really think you guys should check them out. On Twitter, they are at Maelstrom_radio. On Twitch, they are twitch.tv/Maelstrom Radio. So be sure to check them out. They are awesome. I'm really excited. Like, if you guys don't know about Justin Moore, he is a pretty big Twitch partner, and I think that's really amazing for them to kick off 2020 with some really exciting directions. So I'm very proud of them.
Very nice. Check out Maelstrom Radio. Not a lot of listener reaction this week because I was bad at tweeting this week.
And I mostly tweeted with the ESO community.
But we did have Rathok who said, pass the party this evening over to @SheHeals with some E4S Final Fantasy rating. Have a fantastic Wednesday. Thank you so much, Rathok. Really appreciate it. And yes, we did. I think the day he sent them over, we didn't get any clears that night. But we did end up getting everyone in our group weapons and chest pieces.
Awesome. Also, thank you, Chili, so much for sharing those links in chat for us. And speaking of Chili, it was in response to She Heals I Tank shit podcast, shit emotes. I don't really remember, but he responds that
maybe you should tell people that you're redoing all the emotes.
I am redoing all the emotes. I am really obsessed with making every one of our Twitch emotes become some sort of a some sort of a poop or shit pun.
This is what I deal with, guys.
I like puns. I like dad jokes. They're amazing. So the very first one that has been submitted currently is Shits and Giggles. It is a giggling pile of poop, and we're waiting for it to get approved. And I've gotten better at drawing emotes, so we will be kind of replacing the existing poop emotes. So I hope you guys like them, and I hope you enjoy ridiculous, stupid, childish poop puns as much as I do. You can look forward to holy shit, bullshit, pizza shit. Lots of shit. It's going to be fun. I've got some ideas and I'll be drawing them and putting them together soon. So I I just really want to embrace the shit.
Embrace your inner shit.
Embrace or external shit. I don't know. Just embrace the shit. It's pizza shit or piece of shit. Exactly, you guys. See? It's wonderful. So, but Chili tweeted, here's an exclusive look at the behind the scenes when they came up with the name. And it's in a GIF of a little cartoon throwing up a pile of poop.
That's the cutest damn poop I've ever seen.
It's so cute. Cute poop. And honestly, even more so than anything, if you have a really good poop or shit pun, please tweet it to me because you will make my day. I seriously spend like half a day like thinking of them and writing them down. And if you have some that you think would make a really fun emote, I would love to hear it because I think that would be really, really fun.
There's your challenge of the week.
Poop puns, you guys. Poop puns.
Tweet at SheHeals. I tank your best poopy pun.
I love them. It's so fun. Oh, goodness. So Chili just said for the GIF, her name is Arail, and she often gets distracted by poking stuff with her pink poop stick. She's like me. Oh, my God. All right.
I've got a pink poop stick.
Uh-huh. So on that note, that is going to be it for this episode. As always, we've enjoyed hanging out with you all live here on Twitch. So thank you so much for spending your time with us. Be sure to hit that follow button so you know the next time we will be going live, especially if you enjoy poop puns, because there's gonna be more coming. And I want to say a great big thank you to everyone listening to the podcast through iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Spotify, and I know there's some weird little app showing up because I like Googled some things. I'm like, what the hell is this? Oh, our podcast is there.
Vaginas.
No, Pete.
That's
Bad.
a new app.
Take it. Oh, okay.
Vaginas.
And remember, wherever you do listen, it would mean a shit ton to us. I forgot about that pun. Shit ton was not one of them. If you give our little shit podcast a rating or review, or more importantly, tell a friend to check us out. Here with Vegan Pete, I am Avi Ale, and we will talk to you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.